Oh, beautiful. G'day, Rob.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Maxie, how you going?
Good. I wanted to ask about the competition this year in the ruck compared to years gone by. Of course, we always hear, Kieran, in your example, is right on my tail. This could be the year he gets me or whatever. But do you feel like this year in particular is the closest you guys have been to having to fight for the number one ruck spot?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's really improved each year he's been here, and he was pretty raw when he first got to the club. But yeah, showed he was at the level last year in those last couple of games when he played, and yeah, he obviously finished the year in the spot with me out. So it's been really good for me, I think, in terms of spurring me on and giving me that necessity to really fight for my spot in the team and improve. But I've really enjoyed that challenge, and it certainly helped me, and we certainly push each other to get better.
Has being pushed, it's not a slight on Strawny at all, but have you had moments in the last 5 years where you've been not pushed as much as perhaps someone in your position needs to be pushed?
Well, certainly last year, the pressure, I felt that pressure more, especially when my form dropped away. He's been better every year, so I guess that pressure has built up, especially now that he's shown he can play some really good footy, and he's got a lot of good weapons. So certainly helps me. It's not like I've been complacent or anything, but I guess having that extra necessity and drive certainly, I think, subconsciously plays a role in driving you and pushing you to be at your best and stay your best and be really good and diligent in what you're doing. And it certainly felt that way this year.
So, and by the same token, what do we see from you this year? Do you feel like you are in a position to be a better footballer again this year? And in what areas do you think that you will or have improved?
Yeah, definitely. I've got pretty high aspirations for myself. I want to be the best ruckman in the competition. So, been working really hard over the break and over the pre-season. I think physically I'm in the best spot I've been in terms of strength, in terms of getting a few niggles that I've probably fought with the last couple of years out. So, feeling physically fittest and strongest and most sound I've ever felt. So from that, I've been able to continue to work on my weapons in terms of my ruck craft, my follow-up around the contest, and my marking around the ground. So I feel really well set up for a really big year, and looking forward to it.
The last one from me, say you want to be the best ruckman in the competition. Who are the blokes that you think you're chasing, and how can you be better than them?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the blokes obviously standing out at the moment are Max Gawn and Nick Nui. They've obviously got some pretty unique strengths and skills, which not necessarily the same as mine. But in terms of my strengths, I think I can be the best in terms of my marking and my ability to get around the ground. So they're probably my two areas that I want to really be the best at. And then in terms of just continuing to improve my ruck work, I've done a lot of work on my centre bounce work, fixed up a couple of injuries, which has allowed me to do a lot more work in terms of my jumping, in terms of my work in there. So that's probably a work on too. But yeah, back to those, being the fittest, being able to run around the ground and take a lot of marks. So they're probably the two areas I think that can set me apart.
Thanks, Rob. Go well.
Cheers, mate.
Vicky at 9.
Just on mute. Beautiful. Just training this morning, Seedsman. How's he travelling? He was obviously doing a few laps. It's been a long journey. How is he fitness-wise and within himself?
Yeah, he was able to do some running today, which was really positive, and I think he's starting to turn a bit of a corner. Last few days, felt better. I've obviously checked in with him a lot, but yeah, it's a bit of a slow process, but I think he's tracking well, and would love to get him back out there training and playing because he's a really important part of this team and this club.
Is he sort of a bit headachy? What's his sort of symptoms that he's spoken about to you?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the full extent, but I spoke to him today and he said he's felt pretty good the last few days and pretty normal. So hopefully keeps that way and gets back out there. But I think we're just really cautious, obviously with anything head related. Long-term health's always the priority. So looking after that first and foremost, and footy obviously second priority, but still got, hopefully he's out there soon.
And McAdam and Murphy, how are they tracking?
Yeah, looking good. Shano just had a concussion also, but he's out of the protocols now and running around, training really well today. And then Lockie Murphy's tracking really well from his neck surgery. Getting a few snaps on the boundary line today, which is good to see. Good to see him back out there, and he's been running around. So I think he's on track to be back early in the year, and he's an important part of the team also. So, yeah, the squad's looking really healthy, really fit overall. So I'm really excited.
Was pretty much everyone out there today, or were there any missing due to COVID or any other reasons?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it was the whole squad. And all the boys are pretty much injury-free, apart from those ones you mentioned. So it's really good to have a full squad out there training. Allows us to do a lot of match sim, a lot of full ground drills. So really helps the whole team. And there'll be a lot of pressure for spots come round one with a really fit list.
Terrific, thank you.
Easy.
Simeon at the Advertiser.
Hey, Rob. I'm just wondering, I guess, how do you see the midfield group, I guess, developing this year and evolving? I know there's a couple of young guys that look like they're kind of pushing their places, pushing their cases at the moment. Yeah,
I'm super excited for the midfield this year. We've got obviously Geordie Dawson come over, who's going to be a star, I think, and we've got a young bloke called Matty Crouch who's going to be back this year, and he's looking really, really good at training. So I can't wait to link up with him. Missed him big time last year, and then the young guys coming through are training the house down. Harry Schoenberg's looking like he's going to go to another level. And guys like Sam Berry dominating. So I can't wait for this year, and everyone seems to have improved from last year, and having a couple of guys back, and Wayne Miller has been coming through there too. So a lot of pressure in there for spots, and really excited with the way everyone's going.
Yeah, just on Matty, I guess, how good is it to see him being back in pretty much full training after kind of what he went through last year? Yeah,
really frustrating year for Matty last year, and was close to coming back, and then just kept having setbacks. So he's been chomping at the bit to get out there, and he's certainly showing he's excited to be back because he's been tearing it up. So he's pretty much back in full training, and I can't wait to have him back in there because he's a superstar of the competition, and hopefully get him back to his best this year, and he'll go a long way to helping us win a lot of games of footy.
Yeah, I guess, how are you going with Strawny kind of playing the last two games? How are you kind of going with that? I guess renewed competition to an extent.
Yeah, definitely. I sort of approached that going into the off season and pre-season like it's sort of my spot to get back. So I've had a really big probably 4 or 5 months, and as I said, feeling the fittest I've felt, and feeling really revitalised and ready for a really big year, and really focused to have a really big impact this year, and be the best player I can be, and really strive to be one of the elite ruckmen of the competition.
Beauty. No, those are all the questions I have. Thanks so much.
No, easy, Simeon.
Theo at 7.
Thanks, Reece. Hey, Big Rob.
Hey,
on that, good, mate. Just on that, your position, mate, do you expect to start round one?
Yeah, absolutely I do, yeah. I'm not expected to be given a shot. I don't think anyone is, based on, reputation or prior work. I don't think any players would be like that, especially with the competition around for every single spot. So, but I feel like I'm training really well. Looking forward to playing some really good footy in the upcoming internal trials and trial games against other teams, and looking to play really, really well. So, certainly not looking just to play. I'm looking to get out there and dominate and really play my best footy. And as I said, be one of the best, or be the best ruckman in the competition.
Looking this morning, mate, it looked like the transition work looked slick. Has there been a focus on speed, or has there been a certain focus during the pre-season for you to develop for the team?
Yeah, definitely. Well, in terms of Burjo coming across, he's big emphasis on high speed and transitioning both ways. And I think, it's been a really big work on for us in terms of our ability to transition really quickly from offense to defense and vice versa. And that'll really help us. I think that was a work on, especially with a young group. It's not necessarily ingrained in young players, that ability to transition between offense and defense and offense. So we've really worked on that and trained that, and it's looking really good at the moment. So super excited to see that translate into games this year.
What difference have you noticed with that, mate? Is it just a matter of blokes triggering to defence earlier or doing it faster? What are some of the keys to it?
Well, I think it's the fittest I've seen a group since my time at the club in terms of having a really big off season. A lot of the boys trained together, and then over the pre-season we've been pretty much everyone on the track. Really big sessions in the heat, so everyone's really fit, which is the first step. And then that ability to I guess work together, use our voice to really click into our offense without delaying, without ball watching. That's probably the main thing we've been working on to sort of stop opposition's offense in their tracks and then get the ball going our way really well.
And from your point of view, what did you pick up this morning? It looked like full noise sort of session this morning and full match sim. What are some of the areas that impressed you, or some of the things that you still need to work on when you talk about your full ground and where you guys are at as a group?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been doing, because of the way we've been able to get fit, we've been able to do a lot of match sim pretty much in every session. So we're looking really good. I mean, getting back into a really good lot of contest work, which is obviously where a lot of games are won. We've started to really ramp that up around the stoppage and continuing to work on that. And then in terms of our ability to connect with our forwards as well I think it's really improved. And then that transition stuff, which is seems to be out of sight from last year. So hopefully that's able to translate and we have a really good start to the year.
Just give us a couple of thoughts on a few of the new guys, mate. I know you touched on Geordie. He looked amazing today, laid a couple of really big tackles and kicked a big goal from sort of outside 50. And Josh Reilly just looks like he belongs as well. What have you seen from those two guys?
Yeah, Geordie, I'm super excited to line up the midfield with Geordie. He's a pretty complete player. A booming kick, so I'll probably give him a few handballs this year, I reckon. And he's been awesome. He hasn't missed a beat since being here, so loved having him across. Yeah, Josh Reilly, he's been pretty electric up forward, pretty mercurial talent. So really exciting to have him. I think he'd be a very good shot to play very early in the year and have a real impact in there. I think he played a bit of match sim last week. Probably kicked about 4 or 5 goals, nipping around up there. So certainly slotted straight in to the AFL sort of standard. So super excited for him. And then all the other draftees have been really impressive as well. Hopefully they get a run throughout the year. Jake Soligo, he's living with me there. He's been awesome. Zachy Taylor, Luke Nankervis, they've been great as well. So, and then as I mentioned, we pretty much got 2 new players in terms of Matt Crouch and Wayne Miller. So they've been super exciting.
Yeah, it's handy as well. Hey, last two from me. What happened last Wednesday? Training's been pretty red hot, but apparently the word was last week there was a session that knocked everyone about.
Well, Wednesday we had a 4-day break over the weekend. So Wednesday we got put through our paces, which was good. We had 2 sort of 30-minute blocks of match play. It was pretty hot and sweaty, so boys worked pretty hard. But it was really good standard. Really good to have a good hit out and crash in and do that, and really exciting. But then we had a couple of 400s at the end just to polish us off, which probably defeated a few boys, but we earned our break, which was good, and everyone came back today and trained well again. So certainly been put through our paces the last few weeks, which is what we want. So we're looking really fit, but everyone's enjoying it and ready to go for a big year.
Beauty. Last one from me, mate. Have you avoided COVID personally? I know you probably can't talk to anyone else, but have you avoided being unwell?
Yes, I have. So I've been lucky. So we're all being pretty sensible and avoiding it. So we're all trying to do the right thing and stay out on the track so we can improve personally as a group, and then avoid having to, I guess, lock down and miss 10 days of training. So I've been pretty lucky so far, and hopefully it stays that way.
Excellent. Thanks, Rob.
Easy, mate.
Steve at AAP.
Yeah, hi, Rob. You've spoken about the fitness of the group and also yourself. Can I just get your opinion of what Darren Burgess has brought to the club? I mean, I know he's only been there a couple of months, but how has it changed, and what sort of imprint has he had in such a short time?
He's been great. I've really got along really well with him. He's really good at instilling belief in the group and how fit we are and how well we're going, which has been great. Plays a few mind games with us, which is good. Keeps us on our toes and keeps us guessing as to what we're going to do. I think that's certainly helped in our resilience and mental toughness as well. But in terms of I guess we had a really long off season. A lot of guys were in Adelaide together. able to do his program all together, and we've really come back into pre-season. We've basically been able to do all footy drills because we've been so fit and had a really good base. So, yeah, fortunately, we've been able to do heaps and heaps of footy, which is the stuff we want to do, and get really fit. So he's been awesome, along with the rest of the high performance staff. But the group's looking really, really good.
AJ did mention before Christmas that, I mean, while he's obviously a fitness expert, mental resilience is also something that he's trying to build. And you mentioned there the mind games. Can you give an example of what he's thrown at you guys in the mental space? Or?
Yeah, we just things like not telling us how many reps we're doing, sending out our sessions in the off season the night before, sort of thing. So we're not sort of knowing what we're doing, that sort of stuff. Just to keep us on our toes and keep us guessing. But yeah, he talks a lot about, there's obviously footy and right. It's a lot of it's between the ears, really, because everyone's around the league is really fit. But having that belief that you can outrun your opponent all day and being able to do that is really important. So building that mental side's just as important as the physical side, and he's been able to do that.
Sure. Has he given you any insights into what Max Gawn does and relay any of that to you that you might be able to pick up on and help yourself? Or?
I haven't chatted specifically about that, but he has talked about Melbourne and their ability to work really hard, but then work really smart in the way they're running as well in games. So being able to, I guess, what I was talking to Theo before about doing our work early and stopping that transition so you don't actually have to run. So we've talked about that. Being really fit, but then not necessarily having to use it, just by doing your work early and working together as a group. So they were obviously the best in the competition at doing that last year with their defence. We're looking to emulate that in the way we're playing.